Welcome, welcome. This is Racism in Schools, Impact African American Character Development. I am your facilitator, Yaya Tila Sorrell, and I'm so grateful that all of you are here. Thank you so much for coming. I've been working with students for a long time, well over 10 years. But most importantly, I'm a parent, and I have witnessed personally the impact of racial bias in schools and how that impacts our students. So I am here to show you how to empower your students, your sons, your daughters. All right? I also want to encourage you to dig deep, to think about your answers and then to share them with us because there is no right or wrong. And every now and again, to celebrate your answers and to celebrate your comments and your sharing, I will do a popcorn woo. And you're gonna join me right afterward, and it's gonna go woo, and you're gonna go woo. So let's try it. Woo!
Woo!
You gotta do it right afterward, though. Woo! Woo! That's it. That's it. So let's get into the learning objectives. This is what I promise that you will be walking away with when you exit this workshop. So you'll be able to evaluate and better understand and have a deeper awareness of what your children face day to day at their schools. You'll be able to assess their emotions a little bit better, and we are going to construct strategies on how to empower your students. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to begin with a song, because every time racial injustice was addressed, it was usually addressed in the arts, right? We had the 60s, and so we're addressing it now today. Your students' generation is addressing it today. And so I'm going to share a song with you, and I want you to listen very carefully to the lyrics. Very carefully to the lyrics.
I got issues. Living where we live and make you wanna grab a pistol. Hit 'em up to let 'em know that it's official. Referee that black and white, somebody blow the whistle. Call it fouls, call 'em out, take it to the line. Watch me hit it every time like I'm hitting every line. Like they hit 'em with the 9. Hold up, Mr. Officer, he had his hands up and he was only trying to talk to ya. Man down, let the man down. What's the plan now? Hands up or hands down, our bodies in the sand now. How many gotta die before we treat this like a real war? Trying to hold my peace, feel like I'm losing what I'm here for. Never that, I'm forever that, and forever black. Baby, that's the issue, dog. America, they scared of that. Well, tell them not to fear, I'm only here because you shipped us. Ain't asked to be your neighbor, fool. Somehow it's been a mix-up. Treat us like we wanted this, I'm sure that we was doing fine. Killing us must ain't a crime, ain't nobody doing time. One way or another, we gon' stop burying brothers. Turn that badge around and probably say Aryan brothers, man, it's cold. Lately I've been feeling like, Lately I've been feeling like we was born to lead the way. 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 We was born to lead the. Lately I've been feeling like, Lately I've been feeling like everything just ain't okay. Everything just ain't okay. And we was born to lead the way. We was born to lead the way. We was born to lead the. We got issues. We got issues. Trayvon for line. Tell me somebody grab a tissue. Lift them up. I wish they never would've hit you. Praying for your families, I'm sure they really miss you. Let them know we mourn with them, let them know it's really real. Guess they really hate us, they agenda been to really kill. I'ma keep the peace, but dog, you wanna know how I really feel? Never mind, dog, it's never time, gotta really build. Malcolm on you more and non-violent or by any means. What's the right direction? What do any of it really mean? Pistol of the Bible, a killer or disciple? Do we walk with Jesus once they kill us with their rifle? Why are we they rivals? Tell me what they hate for. Told me love the answer, but they seem to love hate more. One way or another, we gon' stop burying brothers. Put our faith to God and unify with each other, man, I'm gone. Lately I've been feeling like, Lately I've been feeling like we was born to lead the way. 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 We was born to lead the. Lately I've been feeling like, lately I've been feeling like everything just ain't okay. Everything just ain't okay. But we was born to lead the way. But we was born to lead the way. We was born to lead.
What did you hear? What did you hear that was ear catching for you?
I'll lead the way.
Born to lead the way.
Why are we their rivals?
Wow. Why are we the rivals? Wow.
I heard that we didn't come here on our own, we were brought here on ships.
I heard that about Trayvon Martin and his family sure reasons.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot in that. Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Good. So while we are thinking, I'm going to invite you to remember a time where you experienced racial bias in your upbringing at your school, when you were in high school, when you were in elementary, middle school. So I'm going to invite you to remember, and if you want, you can look at the floor, or you can close your eyes just for a couple seconds, just to remember something that felt, an event that felt harmful, to just recall and retrieve that event, if it's not too upsetting. And so now I would like you to turn to your partner, so you would be partners with this gentleman, you with this gentleman, and you would both share that experience. And hold on one second, I want to make sure that everybody has equal time, so I'm going to put on a timer. And so the first partner, you decide which one that'll be, will have 2 minutes, the second partner, the same amount of time. And go ahead, converse.
I didn't come up in that, so I can't stand in front of anybody because it was all black. And we didn't have racial discrimination like black and white. It was back in the 50s and the 60s, it was just black. So we was taught by black teachers. So I really didn't really experience that.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Just to say that all your teachers was black.
Yeah.
You know, that's amazing.
Yeah, that came along after, but we was all black, no integration, nothing like that. Yeah. So it was sweet. It was a sweet thing because we didn't experience that. Yeah.
I think he was an English teacher, but literally he would have my referrals wrote when I came to class.
Yeah, so,
before I did anything wrong, said anything wrong.
He was
a white guy. He was a white guy. Blonde hair, white guy. I mean, literally, if I said teacher, I need help too much, I was just kicked out of class.
Oh, wow.
Like literally, I could just tell. And one time I had the police come up to the school. This is when I was in high school. So I wasn't the best in the street, but he came into the school and he started turning my school principal. They tried to do that. Well, I didn't. They didn't let me go to the prom. And that's when I see your prom. They didn't let me go. Because it's really because of that officer. The officer came up and painted this picture to me. The school, I was so bad, and then announced, and I'm bad. But I graduated on time. I graduated, I started 2 grades. He was in the big, they denied my prom. What I did is, because unfortunately I was successful in the other world, I took Africa party. So when everybody left the prom, they came to my hotel.
5 seconds to wrap up.
That's their back.
And when y'all talk, when we talk.
When you was
Five,
Like,
4,
But when they
3,
talk, they
2,
don't even function.
1. Switch partners.
and I end up meeting Janelle, but I end up going to a problem with Janelle problem.
Oh, okay.
That's why I met Janelle.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, they married me for my old problem, so they didn't wanna make sure nothing crazy happened while I'm there, so. No, I really wanted to go to, even they just threw, a high school reunion. But I should've, I didn't know.
Mhm.
They wanted me to go though, I should, I was still kinda,
Yeah, think about that, yeah, those years.
you know, I bought a tuxedo and everything, I couldn't get it.
That's cool.
That's all right.
And like I say, back during that time, we were all black, all black teachers. And the teachers back then was like our parents, you know, and so it was a whole different, it was much sweeter, you know, and we looked at our teachers as our parents, you know. No bitterness, no, I can't, you know, when she asked that question, I couldn't say anything, cause I don't even know what that would be like, you know, cause it was all black. Yeah, all black teachers, all black students, yeah. The only thing was white about any situation was the light skinned kids, they would look at them as they was white, you know, yes, but not the way it was brought up, but you know, they were supposed to be the high class, you know, light skinned, yeah. I remember that.
That's
you know.
interesting.
Yeah.
To even have that person, that mentality amongst each other, to see
Yeah.
light skin is
Yeah,
better.
yeah, better, yeah.
That's how she had that picture.
Mhm.
That's so
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the only thing, they were supposed to be, better than, dark skin, yeah. How their parents, was in a different class, range than the kids that was,
5 seconds to wrap up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm not gonna ask you to share your stories, but I want to know how they made you feel. How they made you feel.
Angry.
Angry, absolutely. Angry.
absolutely.
I would,
Irritated.
they make me feel conjoined.
Wow.
They make me feel like the struggle that my brothers have, the struggle that this young man had, we feel conjoined.
Wow.
Sometimes a common enemy will bring together.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't experience that
Alright.
because it was all black. And I wouldn't even know what to say because we didn't experience that back in the day.
So maybe you were in school prior to desegregation?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
When did you experience racism at its earliest form?
In my school?
No?
Just, well, in the sixties, when we could, now we could go and use the restrooms at the Woolworths and
Yes.
those kind of places like
Yeah.
that. That was in the sixties.
Mhm.
60, oh man, I can't call it a year, but I remember when that came about,
Mhm.
that we could use the restrooms and we could go and eat at the places that the whites eat.
Did you feel anything that you couldn't go to a men's bathroom wherever you saw one because you were black?
Right. Well, that was a trend. No, I didn't.
Okay.
You know, it was just a trend. I go black, I go to black, you know?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but that back then, that's the way it was.
Mhm.
know,
And you accepted it?
That's the way it was.
Mhm.
That's the
And it
way
was acceptable?
Yeah.
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 So it was acceptable for some people.
Yeah.
Did you see any violence associated?
No, I didn't experience that. No.
Okay.
Not when I came along.
Mhm.
Yeah, that we were angry about the situation. You know?
Mhm.
Everybody just, back then, they just accepted it.
I see. So acceptance?
Mhm.
Right?
It's just a way of life.
Yes, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah. Any other feelings?
I would definitely agree with anger, but if I'm looking for another, I was disappointed.
Yeah, especially with your high school graduate.
That was
That's still today. Yeah.
I really to this very
Yeah,
day.
today, yeah. Certain
Like
things
you
just stick
robbed
with
me
you.
of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Take it from you.
Feeling robbed.
Yeah. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. Because what was painted, the picture that was painted towards you. Right, yeah.
My last feeling will be insulted.
Insulted.
Yeah.
Insulted. Offended.
Mhm.
Yeah. Insulted. Wonderful. Wonderful.
So we're gonna watch a video of an event that happened at a school recently within the last 2 years or 3 years. It was recent. I can't quite remember the year, but we'll see it when we watch the video. And I want you to do your best to listen and to hear how these students are feeling. Let's see if I can get this all the way back.
That violent classroom confrontation of police officer on duty at a high school caught on camera slamming a student to the ground before arresting her. This video has sparked outrage and an investigation. ABC's Lindsay Davis here with the story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, George. It all started when a Spring Valley High School teacher told the student to leave the classroom. She refused. That's when the deputy gets called in and things quickly escalate. Students we've talked to say he has a history of aggression. Some reportedly even call him Officer Slam.
This morning, this now viral video of an arrest at the South Carolina school is sparking community outrage. The confrontation all caught on tape, showing a police officer approaching an unidentified female student at her desk Monday. Watch as the officer grabs the girl's arm, then wraps his own arm around her neck, slamming her and her desk to the ground.
She was causing disruption in the class. School resource officer asked her repeatedly to leave with him. She refused. At that point, he put her under arrest.
Students witnessed the incident during their algebra class, taking out their cell phones and hitting record.
I was scared, terrified. So that was my first judgment call, is get your phone out so that everything after this is recorded.
Only one student, Naya Kenny, decided to step in, a decision that landed her in jail.
I am traumatized. I could not believe this was going on. They got her out the classroom, and then he came back and he was like, "You want some of this too?" And then he just said, "You going to jail too?" And he put me in handcuffs.
Overnight, the police department confirming the man's identity as Ben Fields, a school resource officer who joined the program in 2008, even receiving a Culture of Excellence Award for proving to be an exceptional role model in 2014. The school's website also lists Fields as the football team's defensive line coach and strength and conditioning coach. This morning, police are investigating the incident. Fields has been placed on unpaid administrative leave and banned from school properties.
My initial reaction was one of shock. Very disturbed with it, and I have a lot of questions I won't answer.
School district officials call the video extremely disturbing and tell ABC News they are deeply concerned, noting that the district will not tolerate any actions that jeopardize the safety of our students.
And this is not the first time the deputy has been under investigation. He's currently facing a lawsuit in federal court accusing him of violating the civil rights of another high school student. Fields was also sued in federal court back in 2007. In that case, a jury ruled in his favor. There's now a request for the FBI to get involved. George and Robin?
People want to know much more.
Yeah, it's hard to explain that one.
It is disturbing to say the very least.
What did you hear from the students?
They were terrified, yeah.
Terrified.
Scared.
Terrified. Scared.
They're in disbelief.
Disbelief. Wow.
Shock.
Shock.
That's where the wow come in. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about wow, but look at this.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Did you hear any other reactions? What about the student who was arrested for helping?
She said she was the only, I heard she was the only one who helped.
Mm-hmm.
She said I was
Mhm.
traumatized.
She said traumatized.
That's right. She was the only one who maybe wasn't paralyzed with fear,
Was able to help. Do these seem somewhat similar? Or do they seem on two different levels? The feelings that we had growing up, our experiences with racial intolerance, and theirs based on this video.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Very similar.
Very similar. And I think what sums up all of this is powerlessness.
Can't do nothing about it, yeah.
Maybe some people want to accept it, but how can I accept it? So this is the part where we get to empower our students. The question falls on you. How are we going to empower our students to help them so that they don't stay in shock, so that they don't stay in disbelief, so that they don't stay traumatized? How will we help? Now, most of us work, have a lot to do, have a lot of, we're doing our best to provide, and so that's a huge help. But how do we engage with them?
I would say one set up a black PTA.
Okay, black PTA.
Try to get the parents involved.
Try to get parents involved, okay?
BSU.
BSU. Yes.
More black teachers.
More black teachers. More black teachers, yes.
Inform our students of their rights.
Students of
A
rights.
lot of them don't know their rights.
Mm-hmm.
And that become, whether black, the PTA, these kind of things to be brought up and taught to them,
Mm-hmm.
your rights, your do's and your don'ts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Letting them know what they have a right to is definitely a source of empowerment.
Right.
Seeing black parents, even if it's not there specifically
Right.
on campus, that's a source of empowerment, to see a reflection of themselves, definitely. And the BSU, for the students of the school to come together, they'll definitely draw strength from one another.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What else? What can we do personally as parents? When our son or daughter comes in, after basketball practice, after conditioning, and they get home and it's late, and maybe it's about 8 o'clock, everybody's kind of getting ready to wind down and go to bed, and what do we say at that very moment? Because there's no BSU, there's no black PTA, there are no black teachers. What do we do personally as parents?
Check in.
Check in.
Listen. Let
Check
them
in.
tell you what the day was. Check in.
And I like what you said, check in and then listen.
Yeah, listen, very important.
Say questions that will make them talk.
Okay. So ask the right questions.
Right question, yeah. How was your day today? That's what they can open up.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of them hold, even, can't trust their parents.
Mm-hmm.
They hold a lot in, that's what
That's
makes
true.
the anger builds up
That's true.
over the years, you know?
Yes.
Who can I tell this to be able to, you know,
Yes.
to feel, you know, who can I trust?
Right.
Yeah.
Very important.
Mm-hmm.
I ask my kids to tell me something exciting.
What a great way to phrase that question. Tell me something exciting.
Yeah.
I like that. What about
Roses and thorns. Roses and thorns.
what does that mean?
Roses is what went good.
Oh,
Yeah.
roses and thorns.
With, Jesus went through with the thorns on his head.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna add one more to the list. Does anybody have anything else? Anything
Put your
else?
icing on the cake.
Okay. I'm gonna say affirmations. Because what's important is that our
I like
kids
that.
not only know that we care, but that we think they're brilliant, that we think that they're worthy, that they're smart, that they're powerful, that they're world changers. And so we've gotta feed them. We've gotta plant those seeds inside of them so that they grow, right? So I'm gonna say affirmations. Does anyone have an affirmation that they say constantly or consistently to their son or daughter?
I always tell my children they can do whatever they want.
You can be whatever you want.
With hard work, there's no limit of height you cannot reach.
That's a great consistent message.
Knowing their purpose.
Of course, I always tell my daughter, you're beautiful.
Definitely, that's important too, right? I'm smart.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you tell your daughter, you're smart. You could be anything you want, but you're also beautiful.
Yeah.
That's important.
I tell my kids as long as they do their best, I'm satisfied with that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Let's do your best.
I forgot to do popcorn moves. Woo!
Woo!
You've been earning them this whole time.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to add before we close our workshop? Are there any last comments, any thoughts, any questions at this time?
Honestly, I think this is really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, yeah. Cause it opens up my mind. I've been away from parenting. So the only time I get a chance to see is at church, you know, around the kids here. Because it's been so long, you know, so this is very touching, you know, to see the way you present yourself and the way you, should I say, the words that you use, the terminologies that you use to express to the kids nowadays. You know, so that's where my age, I'm like 40 years old than everybody, it pays a difference now that I can go back and see some of the things I didn't go through, but it was pain there all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so still the pain was there.
And we honor your wisdom in the room, always.
Yeah.
Always, always.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, any questions?
I see that we're still fighting the same struggles.
Yeah.
You know, from Deacon Ron's perspective and his generation, my generation, to Pastor Mustafa's generation, even to Jim's generation.
Absolutely.
We just shared something that we're still fighting for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All these generations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And another good thing about the guys is just the men here tonight, you know, to go through this, you know, like we got different age, different generations, yeah. And it's kind of laid out the way it is, you know. Yeah, that's sweet.
And I think that's very interesting because I think one of the things, man, that's how we empower our students. But I think that the heads, have to do it too. Usually mom always shows up in school. Very rare do you see this.
Yeah.
And I think this is definitely
Even back in the day,
start.
yeah.
Well, you all have tools to go back to your homes, to take back to your families, to empower your students. And of course, you're coming not only from from knowledge of history, but also from your own personal history.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of work to do, and we have some tools to start with.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for attending.
Mhm.